So this video is number 4, how to prepare documents for submission and navigate the Bluebeam session. So in this video, we're going to cover what happens after the design team has uploaded their files. One of the first things you're going to do is you're going to look for, in the design management folder here inside of your project, you're going to come down, you're going to look for a folder that they use to upload the files. You can see the naming convention here. That can be verified looking at Exhibit K3, which is the folder naming convention. Also, you'll want to look at Exhibit K2, which is the file naming convention. So, folder naming convention looks good. I expand out the files, and those files look, name-wise, they look great. What I'll do next, since I have that folder open, is I'll come over here into the project, and this might look different for you. It might look something like this. You're going to want to come up here and change this to a list view, and then you're going to want to also add in the size column so that you can see the size, because one of the first things you do after you check that the naming convention is correct following exhibits K2 and K3, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to verify the size of the drawings. You can see the size of these is pretty small. You just want to verify they're under 1 gigabyte in size. So that's the first thing. Once that's done, you can move on now and open up these drawings and go ahead and take a look at them. So in order to do that, you can just double click these to open, or if you know that you're going to be making changes to them, you're going to want to check them out first and then open them. So I'm going to click check out to check out this document, and then I'm going to double click it to open it. So once it's checked out, that means I can save it. I can make changes to it. I'm going to go through this document, and I'm going to be reviewing Exhibit A2, which is the quick reference for review and prep of documents prior to input into a session. That's Exhibit A2, where I'm going to be going through and using that as my reference as I follow this along. So, we've already verified that the drawings are named and that the size is good. The very next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the very first sheet, and we're going to look at the index of the drawings, and we're going to verify that they've included a count of the number of drawings. So again, this is something that DSA requires and LAUSD requires. We want to verify a count of drawings is there. If you go down and look at the total number in the count, 45, you'll see that it matches right here the number of sheets in the Bluebeam project file itself in the PDF. So once we've done that, we're going to move on, and we're going to start to look at both bookmarks and thumbnails. So bookmarks is this button right here. Looks like a little book with a bookmark. And then thumbnails is right below it. We'll get to that in just a second. So with bookmarks, what you want to look for is you want to look, since you're already here at the sheet index, you want to make sure that the sheets that you see match what you see in the index. You'll see architectural follows architectural, then structural, mechanical, electrical, just like you see on the left inside of the bookmarks. You want to verify by clicking a few of these to make sure you can go to the particular pages, okay? And then you'll want to click the down arrow under bookmarks and click audit bookmarks to verify that no broken bookmarks are found. Once you've done that, move on to the thumbnails. The thumbnails is this icon right here, the little 4 squares. That shows you your thumbnails, and what you're looking for here, what you're verifying, is that these have sheet titles and sheet names underneath each one of these individual thumbnails. So the page labels inside of the thumbnails need to be set up correctly. Again, bookmarks and page labels within the thumbnails, that's 2 things that DSA requires. Next, we're going to go to the layers button right here, and we're just verifying that there are no layers here. Now, if you find layers here, it's okay, it's safe to delete them if you want to, or what we'll do is we'll send it back to the architect to delete. last thing is hyperlinks. So we're going to look at the hyperlinks. We can see that they're here. We don't see anything that says broken here, so that looks good. And to find other hyperlinks, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into the drawing. And within the drawing, in some cases, the drawing has yellow around the page labels. If you don't see that, that's okay. But just note when the mouse comes over one of these labels, it changes. You see it changes to a little finger, just like on a web page. What that means is you can then click that and go to that particular page. If you see a call out on that page, check that as well. Check to see that when I click on this call out for S31, I click it and I go to S31. So that covers hyperlinks. One other thing that you're going to check is you're going to verify that there are no pages that take a very long time to load. So in some cases, you'll click through this, just click on a few of the random pages, and when you do that, you're just verifying that there aren't any pages which take 1 or 2 or 3 minutes to load when you click on them. If that's the case, that means that there's a problem with the way in which the drawing was created. It was scanned incorrectly at too high of a resolution, and you want to let the architect know that they have to go in and fix that. So the very last thing you check for is that the document is flattened. Once you've done that, you're ready to add the status menu. So to check that the document has been flattened, what you do is you come here to the markups list and you just verify that there's nothing in here. If you see something in here, that means the document needs to be flattened. Okay, once that's happened, the very last thing you're going to do is you're going to add in the backcheck menu or add in the status menu. Now again, in order to add the status menu, which is right here, this drawing needs to be savable. So what that means is, you see I've checked out the drawing. So you see that it's checked out because I right-clicked on the drawing and I clicked check out. When I did that, it created a checkout next to the drawing. I open that drawing up and you see now I have both the drawing and the spec open. I can add that backcheck menu. So to do that, what you'll do is you'll come right here and you'll click manage status, and you will check to make sure that you see the design team only and LAUSD reviewer only, those two fields, those two models here. So once you see them, all you have to do is click OK, and you see the drawing has been updated. So now the very next thing you do is save the drawing. If you go to one and you come to the status menu and you go to manage status and you see that there's something else in there, maybe there's something that's blocking, what you'll want to do is delete whatever you see. If it doesn't read like this, delete it, then hit OK, and then come back to it, and when you do, you should see these two menus populate. So again, once you see it populate, all you have to do is click OK, and when you do that, notice that it updates the drawing. The next thing you do is save the drawing. Last but not least, you check the drawing back in, and there's a couple ways to do that. The easiest way is just to close it, and when you close it, it will ask you if you want to check it in. If you want to, you can actually come back to the Studio project and you can right-click and check it in there, but the easiest way is to just close it and it will do the check-in. So this is going to take a minute. So once your drawing has completed its check-in process, and you'll see it's finished there, you'll come back here and you'll notice that there's no longer a little check-in icon. It's important that any document that you check out, that you've made your changes to, that you saved, that you take the time to check them back in. So you can see, we'll check this one in as well. So once you've completed going through, checking the bookmarks, checking the page labels, checking that the document has been flattened, checking that the layers are removed, and checking that the document has hyperlinks and no pages that open very slowly, you're ready now to move on to create the Bluebeam Studio session.